What's up, everybody? Chris, how you doing today, man?
Adam, what is going on? I'm guessing that you made it back to Costa Rica after a pretty crazy week down in Consensus.
It was a lot of fun. I'm glad Amanda joined us on stage here, because that was one of the highlights for me. Was Amanda invited me to speak on a panel, and it was really nice to just talk. That was one of the most productive, I guess, meetups I had at Consensus. Just meeting some amazing people. Amanda, welcome to the stage. How you doing?
GM, I'm awesome. Yeah, thanks. Speak on your space, my alarm, to make sure I get on it. Yeah, thanks for reminding me. Yeah, it was what a I guess I was there for about 3 days, but it's very productive. And thank you so much for joining the panel. For anyone who couldn't make it, yeah, we there's a group called the Family Office Summit, and we curated a panel on ordinals and also kind of like real world utility in Web3. And Adam obviously gave a great kind of historical perspective. We had Lynn Dye, who is the CEO of Superlogic. They're kind of doing a lot of Web3 loyalty for big brands like Amex, putting those loyalty points in a fungible manner on chain. Cass Vegas was our moderator. And I spoke obviously about On-Chain Monkey and ordinals, and we had a number of our On-Chain Monkey community show up there. Bill Ty also came. He spoke, which I've heard this talk before, but I still kind of get goosebumps. For about 45 minutes on his 3 decades of investing, right, from 1990 to present. For anyone who doesn't know Bill, he was the first investor in Zoom. He seeded Canva, Dapper Labs, 23 publicly traded companies. So he's kind of talking about how to distill signal from noise in investing. He's also our chairman of MetaGood and co-founder of the company that created On-Chain Monkey. So he told our founding story as well there. But I don't want to hog the stage. But yeah, it was a really, really great gathering. Nice venue, Capital Factory, Yeah, obviously I spoke at Consensus as well, but for me that was also the highlight, just getting together with the community and talking about ordinals.
Well, I mean, it is really hard to filter through the noise, and that's why when that's my first time hearing Bill's full kind of story of investing, right? And it's ridiculous. It's like one home run at more like one grand slam after another, right? So that's just in itself, it's like impossible to even consider. I didn't actually know he was part of funding Dapper Labs, which, for me in the Web3 space and just coming from a historical perspective, other than Larva Labs, like Dapper Labs actually may be even more impactful than Larva Labs, right? And so, to see that he actually funded those guys was pretty incredible. Just being a part of that,
Yeah, I mean, it's a really cool story, actually. He came in on Dapper at their 38 million valuation. As most people know, their last round public was 7.6 billion. So that was back in 2018. And he, saw something in CryptoKitties, right? Like cats breeding on the blockchain, I think, before most people caught on to that. And he said, Roam, we'll invest in Dapper Labs if you create a turtle cat. It's going to be named Hanu Kitty, which stands for a turtle cat in Hawaiian, and we're going to auction off of the next blockchain summit. I think they raised about 50 grand, and they donated 100% of the proceeds to Captain Paul Watson and the Sea Shepherd Society to park a boat off the coast of Antigua to protect a turtle nesting area. So that was really the first NFT for ocean conservation back in 2018. That was really kind of the founding story for MetaGood. Like fast forward 3 years when when Bill introduced me to Danny, Bill had invested in Danny's 2 previous companies, MyCoin and Blockseer, and the idea was like, okay, how can NFTs be used for positive world impact, right? So there's all this economic activity, obviously, and trading going on around it, but could you use those to also harness a community's energies towards positive world impact? So that's what we've done really at the beginning of MetaGood, and there's a bunch of stories there as well we can get into, but I know there's a few other folks up on the stage, but
no, I mean,
yeah.
I know we have you just for a brief period of time, so I'd love to just chat with you for
Okay.
15 or 20 minutes.
Yeah,
and then
unfortunately,
we'll,
I'm here in San Francisco. I'm actually with Bill for some meetings, and so I'm running around, and I'm gonna have to hop in about 20 minutes to get to my next thing. But hey, Spirit Zero, good to see you. I got your text last night. Yeah, so I mean, I'll just give my recap. So, came in, I'd say definitely the highlight was kind of that Capital Factory event. I mean, it's awesome to see the monkeys whenever the monkeys get together. And people always say this in our Discord, but we just have attracted some of the best community members and builders. And so I'm always just like, I feel like I'm with family when I go to one of these events and people are hanging out and, a Coin Wrangler, and I'm trying to, Staccato. I want to say his real name, but I'll just say Staccato was there, and Pamela Wright, and obviously Adam, and Sophia Vachetto, and I know I'm like leaving people off. There was like a lot of great. I mean, there's probably a good gathering of monkeys came to hear the talk, and obviously, yes, we spent about half an hour, talking about ordinals, talking about on-chain monkey on our panel, talking about how, and Adam, you should talk about this a little bit, but how it's kind of swung from NFTs being utility, right, and Bored Ape and showing up for events to, almost just the meme culture, right, and like what does that mean in the current, like what's happening with runes.
Totally.
And then Bill, like I said, and we did hire a videographer, so I haven't gotten the video yet, but my plan is obviously to get that up on YouTube.
Awesome.
Bill's talk about about investing throughout 3 decades, right? So 23, he seeded 23 public trade companies, and kind of what he looks for, what he's learned. I was fortunate enough to be in LA the week before and speak on the IRL Alpha show, but I also was in town to attend, Canva Create at SoFi Stadium, right? So that's a story again where he came in, seeded, found Melanie Perkins when all the VCs had kind of said, no way, what a 22-year-old living in her mom's basement making high school yearbooks is going to compete against Adobe, like, and like all these, like, I think there's stories in Forbes of like over 100 VCs that turned her down, and he saw something, and obviously like go on, and there's like a $2.2 billion revenue company still after a decade, I feel like in its early stages, right? Like they're 90% retail users, and they still have the whole enterprise market to tap. So,
well, this is one thing that it's interesting. You just mentioned, Canva, and it was interesting that he had invested in Canva. Something I use every day, but Canva, it was actually something I wanted to ask you about, which is this idea of, well, how do you reach out and market in the Web3 space? And you mentioned with Bill, and they did like kind of this charity or good, which you guys lean into as well. But I actually think, like, if you saw Canva, they had their, big event, and I mean, they got butchered on the timeline about how cringe the videos were and stuff. I actually think this is the new marketing, which is like creating cringe content that people will dunk on social media is actually the marketing method. And I'm wondering if that's like, if you think that they actually strategize it from that perspective. I'd love to know your thoughts on that.
No, I think they were trying to be fun. And remember, like, their audience are creators, and now moving up the stack, like CMOs, right? So they had like the CMO of Expedia talk about how much creatives they have to create for their travel ads, right? And how it enables their company, right, to like create all the different ads that you're seeing, especially made for you based on what you're searching on for Expedia. So, so kind of moving up the enterprise stack. I saw it. I'm trying to think if I posted on Twitter. I think I did. I'll try to pin it. But I actually thought it was super fun. I mean, it was like a rap about like using Canva.
Yeah.
And I thought it was super cool. And like, if you were there, and I don't know if the people were posting said it was cringe or not, but like people in the audience were loving it.
Oh, people online thought it was the only thing comparable was the and this is why I think it's actually gotten into corporate America. You might not think they're going for cringe, but I'm looking at what Google did maybe 3 weeks before or 4 weeks before, a month before, at their, Google, meetup or whatever. Same deal, which was like, almost to the level of like embarrassment. And then just the endless dunking on X. I don't know. It feels almost crafted to me now at this point, the cringe marketing. But
oh, I don't think that I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they meant to or not. I actually didn't think it was cringe. I thought it was pretty creative. It definitely, people in the audience thought it was fun. People were like hooting, and I mean, I was actually on the second floor of like, again, it wasn't like the football stadium. They're in the YouTube theater, so not like the full football stadium, but like on the second floor looking down. I mean, people were like, yeah, people were having fun with it. I mean, it's way more fun than going to most, like kind of company user conferences, which are like,
Yep.
okay, my head of product's going to get up and talk about our next 2 quarters of product features and, all the graphs up and to the right, like hockey sticks. So I thought it was a lot more fun and creative and like well tailored for the audience that they were, trying to hit, which are creatives, right?
Yep.
So people, designers, artists, people creating graphics and all sorts of stuff. So, but enough on that. And then, yeah, so back to kind of consensus. And then I was, we participated in a pitch competition 2 years ago in Consensus. We were the only kind of like NFT company, right, in this Web3 pitch competition. And so they always want the founders to kind of come back and give back to the next set of companies that are kind of going through this competition. And they had, I think, 4. Can you hear me?
I'm sorry. Yeah. I was yelling at my pig is screaming at the top of the stairs. Sorry, I thought I muted my mic.
Okay. I didn't know if I just like stepped out. No, but they so they want people to give back. So right, they had like 40 finalists from like around the world, all interesting like Web3 companies from L2s to DeFi to all sorts of kind of Web3 companies. And so I gave a talk on how to win a pitch competition with a company called Rise, and then another one called Give Pact with Rumi Morales from Outlier Ventures. And kind of we're supposed to relive the experience from 2 years ago. And then also gave a talk on how and why to raise venture financing with Patrick Chang. He does a lot of infrastructure investments from his Dispersion Capital, and with Ben Stein, who runs CoinDesk's magazine. So it was, I think coming out of that, what's very useful always is like just meeting the people on your panel. So I told Ben, when they're ready, like we're ready to help contribute, Ordinal's content for CoinDesk. He's like, oh, that'd be great. Yeah, we're going to be starting a contributor thing, kind of like Forbes. I'm like, great, let's do it. We're happy to contribute. Danny's been obviously in Bitcoin Magazine with his Rise of Ordinals op-ed, and we'd love to help shape some of that content for CoinDesk. So that was good. And
what do you make of what were you hearing kind of Ordinals related? I mean, I was on a space the other day where it's there's a hedge fund already spun up, buying Ordinals and stuff. Did you hear anything new or interesting in the Ordinal space?
I mean, I will say, I didn't. So Casey spoke. I think there was maybe only one. I remember last year, for example, Danny spoke at Consensus. It was the only panel on Consensus about Ordinals. Right. And the title wasn't exactly like, can Bitcoin be anything but a store of value? But it was basically along those lines with like Dan Held and a gentleman who was like former CTO of Custodia Bank, who was like definitely Bitcoin Maxi and did not think it should be for anything else but store of value. This year, I know Casey spoke. I'm not sure who else spoke. I mean, I was pushing. I was like, hey, I speak at every Ordinals time. I'm speaking at Ordinals, but they wanted me to speak on the startup stuff. So, so I didn't know what the alpha was on that. Frankly, you get there, and I was running around to meetings. Sure. But I think, in terms of communities, like doing things, I mean, it was also at the same time as NFC Lisbon. So I was seeing a lot of my timeline, a lot of communities meeting up in Lisbon. But, I think, I was not there was an Ord Austin on the Friday night, which I think was 5 to 9. I know Bunzi was putting that together. I flew out Friday because I needed to get back to my daughter. So I didn't stay for that. But I think that was like probably one of the big gatherings, and obviously like our community gathering during Capital Factory. And yeah, I do think there needs to be, more investment in the ordinal space, not just from, NFT collectors, but, some more institutional capital. So I did have an interesting meeting. We'll see if it gets off the ground. But, one of our investors is very interested in putting some sizable chunks of money. He's an investor, obviously, in MetaGood, but just into some kind of ordinals fund. So we'll see, where that goes. It's always a bandwidth issue, but with this type of stuff. But yeah, I need to find a degen trader. Actually, a lot of people have been reaching out to me to say that they want to put some money into a fund that is investing in ordinals and runes and maybe BRC20s and kind of like some type of liquid token fund. So we'll see if that comes together. But it was great to meet Casper Johansson, who runs Spartan Group. He gave a great interview. It was reposted on LinkedIn and also on Twitter. And I feel badly, I don't remember the name of the guy that did the podcast, but he did a great podcast and talked a lot about On-Chain Monkey and compared us to CryptoPunks on Bitcoin back from 2019, right? If you think of back when CryptoPunks was 1 Ethereum to now and kind of where we're at in the evolution of ordinals being so early and the technical innovation that On-Chain Monkey has achieved, pioneering the use of recursion and parent-child provenance and creating code libraries that other artists are using to put all of their art on Bitcoin. Kind of a lot of that provenance is and technical innovation is similar to the type of stuff that I say CryptoPunks did back in 2019. Oh, I see Kaz on here. Kaz, you should hop up if you can. I don't know where you are.
Yeah, anybody raise your hand if you want to come up and have questions, whatever.
But yeah, Kaz did a great job moderating her panel, but I don't know where she is or maybe she can't speak right now. But shout out to Kaz. Thank you for doing that. So what else? Yeah, it's just I'm trying to think what other highlights, other meetings.
No, it's funny. I think I only saw maybe 2 people speak, right? Because it's like you're just so busy just running around in the meetings. But sometimes those meetings are you just hear something or you're kind of hit with something that you didn't think about or moved in a new direction. Certainly memes were, and the current state of crypto and meme culture was definitely a big part of it. I think there's a lot of burnout in that kind of direction, especially from builders and stuff who are ready to move past meme culture.
Then I'll say another one that was like a real highlight was I love Ian Rogers, who's the Chief Experience Officer at Ledger. So I did go and catch his talk with Avery from Banner Media, and usually they're on the stage, they're mic'd up, they go on stage, and then they kind of like.
Oh, you cut out. You there? We lost you.
Yeah, I think we lost her.
She's ruggy ruggins. Anyway, Amanda,
talk about ordinals, all the rage you have in your collection. You basically give a really nice shout out to On-Chain Monkey, and I've been on Pascal's case, and hopefully soon they will be announcing ordinal support, which I think, back to the point of like institutions investing in ordinals will make a huge difference. Like one thing, I did speak to like a liquid token fund that said they want to get into ordinals, but custody is really the issue, right? Like it's one thing if you're just managing your own personal wallet and you lose something because it's not on cold storage, but it's another thing when it's your other people's, institutional capital. So I think having cold wallet storage capabilities from Ledger will bring more money into the ordinal space because it will enable institutional capital come in a more secure way in terms of the custody of ordinals and runes. So I'm very much looking forward to that.
Awesome. Amanda, I know you got to run. Thank you so much for joining us, and really thanks for inviting me to the panel. I really enjoyed myself. It was great meeting everybody over there, and awesome hooking up. Thanks so much,
Adam. How'd you do?
What'd you say, Jake?
How'd you do on the panel? What'd you guys talk about?
We talked about, I don't know, what did we talk about? I'm not good at remembering. I try to stay in the moment of what we were talking about, maybe a little of On-Chain Monkey history and current state of more just kind of current state of where we are to a large degree, which I think is, we're all kind of trying to figure out. We're in this like meme cycle right now, and where it's all going to go. That was kind of the overriding theme of where my whole consensus was, just like, where are we going next? You know, because we can't stay in meme land forever. Yeah.
Yes. And yeah, people obviously want to play the casino, but at the end of the day, then when you want to collect high value digital assets, you want to put it in something like On-Chain Monkey. You know, we kind of talked about that. One other thing I should mention, which I'm excited, I don't know when it's going to come out, but Bill and I did a podcast with Rachel Wolfshin. She was formerly a reporter for Forbes, and now she runs a Web3 deep dive podcast for Cointelegraph. So that was great. She was just interviewing a bunch of founders of kind of top crypto projects. And so that should be coming out soon, I hope. And yeah, I think that's a little bit. I don't know if anyone else has questions. I probably need to hop in about 4 minutes or so to my next thing, but
I've got a question. I mean, I came a little bit late, so maybe you discussed this already. I was just curious, what's next on the agenda for On-Chain Monkeys? As you know, Runes has kind of really taken center stage, and we're seeing a bunch of different L2s. Is OCM looking into anything like this?
yeah, I mean, well, the biggest thing that's coming up, you know, very short term, like in the next month, is our Alexi Andre drop. Alexi is, you know, Paris-based artist. He was the artist behind friendship bracelets with Snowfro on Ethereum. This is his first collection on Bitcoin. It's called The Front Line. So, you know, there is no good without bad, and it just depends where you draw the front line. And it's really, really incredible generative art. You will, if you're an On-Chain Monkey holder, be able to select. There's a couple traits that you can select the monkey that those traits, a couple of those traits will show up in the art. Or if you're not an On-Chain Monkey holder, or you want to kind of see what you get out of the mint, you can also just elect to get a mint that is not like with the traits of your monkey. So just even if you have a rare one, you probably want it to your rare monkey. And so we're really excited about that. We've just hired an incredible woman, Alex in Web3, who is going to be helping us with the mint. She worked with Harvey Rayner for Chatfucker, and she also did some of the socials and community management at Proof Collective. She's awesome. She's on her way to Rome, so I'm trying to connect her with Scotch Fox so they can meet up. But she's just hit the ground running, and you know, we're really excited to welcome her on board to work with us on marketing there. And you know, can't comment right now on the Runes and L2. We don't want to announce anything on spaces that we haven't announced, you know, already to our community. But yes, we are, you know, working on things in that space as well. We're always cooking, always innovating, always looking for kind of the next big thing that will create value for the On-Chain Monkey community. And so can't share more specifics, but yes, we are looking into things in that space.
That's awesome. The monkeys need a tree or an L2 to hang out and swing from, right?
Banana season.
Banana zone.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Amanda. Thanks so much for joining. We'll let you
of course
pop down.
All right.
And
have a great day, everybody. Happy Wednesday. And actually, so tomorrow I would just be a quick plug. We will have Alexi on. We're doing, I think it's 8 a.m. It's 8 a.m. Pacific. Let me just check my calendar. 8 to 9 a.m. with Alexi Andre, Cooking on Bitcoin show. NFT Bark from Coffee Captain will be on as well. So please come and bring any questions you have there. And
awesome.
It should be
if
great
you have
to hear
that
directly from the artist.
Do you want me to have that as a tweet,
link?
go ahead and pin it up top.
Yeah, I'll pin it up too. Okay, cool.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Amanda. Appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you. Appreciate you.
And I know we got Tom up on stage. Tom, how's it going, man? I know we only got you for a few minutes. You're jumping over to your regular show. How's it going, man?
How you doing, Adam? Yeah, man, just getting ready to go live here. Very exciting price action going on lately. I'm not too mad about it. It waited till we got back from Texas, so that's good.
It was good seeing you, man. I hadn't seen you since Estonia. But
Yeah.
you didn't really do the whole consensus thing. You were just there for the Bitmain event. Is that right?
Yeah, it was funny. I showed up to the Lone Star Ballroom, and I was like, I do not know anyone here. I'm like, oh look, there's Adam. There he is. And I just ran over to you. Yeah, that's the only reason I was there. Bitmain. I thought they wanted to kind of talk shop, like, hey Tommy, you want to come down for our event? And I was like, sure. And I got there, and I don't even think I spoke to them. I think they were just like doing their own thing. I think at that point, I think what happened is they weren't really sure about the dates.
Yeah.
And so they had it the day after. And I think by then their entire crew was just kind of like partied out, like just done with everything, done with talking to people. And so, I mean, yeah, it was a lovely event. I'm glad that I came down and got to kind of shake hands and see people, but
it's
I don't know why I was there.
You learn real quick, dealing with them and really nice people and everything, but you realize that this is like a massive company. That one hand does not necessarily know what the other hand is doing, right?
No, man. But it was cool to see the new mining stuff and to get people up there from Doge and Bells and actually there weren't really Litecoin people there, were there? I mean,
there really weren't.
It's a script miner.
Yeah,
it was weird.
I just think it's one of those things where it's like the Litecoin community is so small. It's literally like 5 people, and so there's just no bodies. There's not like bodies. I met up with when I met with Luke and now I'm blanking his name, but we met up with the founder of Litecoin and and we're talking to him, but like it just felt like Litecoin just doesn't have any sort of vibrancy to that community. A lot of value stuck on that chain, but not a lot of people who are interested in unlocking that value.
Zombie chain.
It's a true zombie chain.
You know what will change that is the number go up, and then all of a sudden people say, I always liked Litecoin. We'll see.
Yeah.
Did
you hear? Sorry, go ahead, Jake.
I was going to say that you'll probably see some renewed interest once the Litecoin ETF gets approved. Right now, Coinbase has futures products for Dogecoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Litecoin. And no ETF so far has been listed. I mean, you only have 2. You have Bitcoin and Ethereum, but essentially you have to have, from what I'm reading, you have to have a futures product, or at least this is like the right path to have a futures product trading first before the ETF. So maybe once a Litecoin ETF is approved, the boomers will like it because it'll be the silver to Bitcoin, right?
I'm actually blown away that Ethereum beat Litecoin to an ETF. I had that like outlier bet that Litecoin would be number 2. And for the exact reasons kind of listed there, whenever we talked about institutional stuff in 18 or 19, it was always Bitcoin, Litecoin, like Bitcoin Cash, and not Doge, but yeah, like the proof of works, the fair origin kind of chains. So I'm blown away.
Yeah. Did you hear anything that caught your interest or something, people were talking about that you weren't thinking about at Consensus?
Not really. I wasn't there, but I wasn't really there. I was only at that event, and that was a lot about the miner, the L9 miner, and mining's not really my wheelhouse. So I of course enjoyed chatting with people and connecting, but there wasn't, I didn't really hear much outside of that.
Yep. Well, give us your price prediction for the next 6 months, man. Give us the bullish case for Bitcoin, because I know you're a charting guy. I don't believe in charts, but might as well hear your predictions.
Okay. 6 months. The sky's the limit in 6 months.
Yeah, man.
No, it really is. It's so hard to put a number on where we could be.
Yep.
And we lose sight of that really quickly. It's been 82 days since a new all-time high. And basically people are back to, it'll never go back. It'll never go back up. They're a little excited now, but this it's going to be forever. And, if you've been in this space, you've seen it. It's nothing. And then out of nowhere, big expansive move, craziness. And by the time everyone realizes it, it's back to nothing again. So, realistically, we could see Bitcoin at a new all-time high like today. Yeah. I'm not going to be calling for it. I'm not saying bet your money on it. But realistically, that is on the table. And once that happens, pick your upside. Like 100K is not far away at this point. People don't seem really even jazzed on 71K. Like it's sky's the limit, man. I don't even.
Oh man, we just got Ruggy McRuggin.
Oh man, pain. Dang. Maybe Chris's connection was
I
quite
think Chris's connection was gone bad, man.
Oh, well,
But
we're still recording
alive.
here.
We're
We're still-
crushing it.
So what happened with the conversation with Amanda? Was it an OCM side event? Is that what it was?
Basically, I think it was really more like an investor group. So, her and Bill, I think she's the CEO of one of Bill's like investment arms or whatever. And so, it was kind of hearing Bill speak, he gave like his life in investing story, which obviously he's given before. This is like his PowerPoint presentation, and which was cool, dude. I mean, you hear this stuff and it's like, geez, man, he's like in every, I mean, of course he's only telling the winners, but there's a lot of winners there, and showing out his tweet like it's, I don't know, February 2010, he tweeted out, hey, can somebody tell me a little bit more about this Bitcoin thing, and yeah, so I think in a lot of ways it was more like a family office thing where they invite high net worth people over there to kind of give the state of the union of Web3 and crypto, and I think for them to raise money, really. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like
it's really all it is. So Chris just said the whole space crashed.
Yeah.
He's restarting it right now.
Nice.
So if anyone's watching and still wants to hang out, I know it's going to be. Yes, every day we are going to restart it. Chris is restarting it right now. I know we're not going to get the same amount of audience. That never really does happen, but cool. Adam, do you want to run it through your audio or me?
I'll do it on my audio here.
All right, let me go join real quick.
All right. Yo, Chris, Ruggy McRuggins.
We are back. That was a tough one. So it rugged on my phone, but my computer was still going, and then took the whole space down. We're back, baby.
It said host is having connection issues. It did give us that warning, and I was like, oh, is that me? And then it was like, no, and then just rugged.
Tough, man. Man, we really had some good flow there. So hopefully we can capture it back.
Yep.
Let's see if Tom, I think maybe he had to go start his show.
And I know I was trying to get the let me see if I can get, because I met up with Michael from Facet, and let me see if I can send him a DM, try and get him back on, because I had some good combos with those guys, and I'd love to highlight what they're kind of working on and stuff.
For sure. While we have a minute,
yeah,
Adam, wanted to get your take on, you mentioned earlier how you thought maybe the Canva viral kind of cringe video was, really on purpose. Pomp had this pretty good tweet, I just pinned it up top, about just launching new products and kind of going viral with them, and just really leaning into the cringe just to kind of, garner that attention and really push it through the internet waves as much as possible to start that conversation.
Yeah.
And I think that is kind of like the new trend. What do you think? Did you kind of come to that conclusion on your own? Did you see, like, just based on how cringe some of the videos have become?
It's like,
what are your thoughts?
When I see the first time it kind of clicked for me was when I saw that Google thing, and the Google whatever town hall or whatever they call it. I saw that and I was like, wow, this is intentional. It felt intentional to me, rather than, oh, we're trying to do something cool and it just came out funky. No, it seemed like they were trying to do funky from the start. But very corporate, right? Where it's still safe, right? It's not in the realm of like outrageous or pushing boundaries in any way. It's just to this level of where most people will find it cringy, right? And sure enough, I mean, that blew up on the timeline, and even to an effect. And this, they did it a little bit different, but the Apple thing, with the Apple, where it crushed the music and stuff like that. While that wasn't like cringy, what that did do was get a reaction from people that actually upset people. And it's two sides of the same coin. It's, so the big corporate, with, I'm saying, like Google and Canva, leaning into this idea of like, we can be cringy, which is still safe, right? So it doesn't harm the brand in any way other than we're cringe. but gets that virality, because most, you know, if Canva had just done a song and whatever, and it was actually like good, nobody would care. Like, it would get no virality. It's the stuff that's like awkward or, you know, upsetting in some way that goes viral. And like, you can just think about it. Think of Ethereum when the Song a Day guy did the song with, you know, Vitalik, and Vitalik standing on stage all weird and stuff. Like, there's no reason I would have seen that if Vitalik like was acting normal, right? It's because he's so cringe that it goes completely viral. You know, I don't know. It's current state of affairs.
Yeah, I mean, I would say like in today's world, like if you're working for a digitally based company, right? Like Canva, right? The product exists primarily online or completely online. Crypto, right? Also completely digital. That there's two ways to market it. And we practice one of these at Emblem, right? You either opt to try to create something insanely viral that it extends beyond your outer circle, because that's the whole goal of marketing, right? Is to reach people that are not directly in line or direct users of your product, or you do co-marketing. And co-marketing is something we do at Emblem a lot. We found a lot of success, which is, hey, if I'm going to release a new product, let me find a successful person or project that's in that area that you could partner with, and you can then hopefully reach some virality because of the amplification of the multiple parties that are involved with whatever the endeavor is. But the Canva one was quite cringe, but hey, it got the word out. At the end of the day, I'm sure a lot more people are looking into it. I did. Yep. I didn't know what it was, and then I was like, oh, they basically are competing now with Photoshop and with Photoshop and with Adobe, I guess, right? Would be like the real thing. So
actually, we got our marketing expert Lucas on stage. Right?
Yeah,
man.
Hey,
what do you make of cringe marketing, bro? Is this the new meta?
I think it's great. Think about it. It's great. You remember we're talking about the ad still. I don't even know why anybody was upset about the iPad commercial. Like, I don't get it. I watched it like a couple times. Like, wait, why isn't this like making me feel uncomfortable? It was actually really, in a way, it's the opposite of that cathartic video. You know what I mean? Where like something at the end or happens, and you're just like, wow, that was just so satisfying to watch.
Yep.
That was like less satisfying, and that's why I made it stand out and like stick in my head. So I think it was kind of smart. I think cringe marketing is the new marketing. It's going to freak people out and shock them into to a point where all it's going to be is cringe marketing before you know it. So,
yeah, I think so. To a large, at least till it gets like, till people stop paying attention to the cringe, right? And then we'll move on to something else. But it does feel like that right now.
It's like the ocean spray commercial. Remember when the guy's like cruising with that? And I mean, like, it's a little cringe. Let's be honest. Like, that's a weird commercial. Guy with tattoos all over him, riding around with ocean spray on a skateboard. Like, that wasn't exactly ocean spray to me, at least, but it definitely opened the eyes to like a new generation of, wow, that's pretty cool, right?
Yep.
So
Lucas, let me ask you this then. When it comes to cringe marketing, is it synonymous with cringe marketing for a product versus cringe marketing for a person? The two examples I'll use here, right, is the Canva cringe marketing versus something like Mark Zuckerberg's sister doing a crypto video last cycle about us all whack me, right? Does it have the same impact on both sides?
So sorry, I just remember that video so well. And it's like, that is the almost, if you know the space, first off, it's just.
Uh-oh. What happened? Someone mute?
That was me, my bad.
It's all good. First off, it's like just cringe. Like, if you do that and you make yourself look like, like, I mean, you guys all know she did not look good in that. It kind of looked like a boomer trying to look cool and probably thought they were cool. And so there's that. And then there's that whole, I mean, at the end of the day, you don't even know if it was done on purpose or not. You don't even know if she was doing it. I think she didn't do it on purpose. I actually think she was like so into it. But at the same time, you just don't know. Like, you just don't know, because it's just so bad. How do you look at that and go, wow, I'm really proud of that, right? But it did its job. Like, everybody shared it. So like, at the end of the day, regardless of like you liked it or I liked it or we thought it was cringe, we shared it because it was cringe. We share things because things are cringe or things are cool, right?
Yep.
Cool or cringe. It's really hard to be cool nowadays, right? It's way easier to be cringe.
Totally, dude.
That's why they do it.
Totally.
So I'd say it was a success. personal brand and let's just say regular brand, I would say if people are sharing your content, I guess you could say no press is bad press in this case, right? Be cringe.
Totally. I wanted to welcome up on stage Fungibles, man. What's up, dude? Been a while.
GM.
So
what's going on?
So what was you were at Consensus, right? What were some of the things you were looking at or interested in, man?
I was a Consensus. Why didn't I come by and say hi to
Where
you?
were you, bro?
What the hell? I mostly went down there just to kind of take some meetings, and we were in the Airbnb a lot. But I did go to the floor one day, and I mean, look, I've never been to Consensus before. I can only compare it to ETH Denver, but I have to say I enjoyed it, and I thought there was a high level of kismet walking around that floor, running into people, talented people. What would be one thing I think that maybe stood out to me? I don't know, memes, man.
It was all about memes, right?
Is that part of the cringe marketing of the industry? We're just so cringe that we just push these memes to complete virality.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I feel like, well, they really are what start the conversation and get things flowing. And, something else I think about is fucking influencers here or whatever, content creators. It's like we have to constantly be coming out with information. And when I first jumped on X, I remember I was so strict about not taking anybody else's information and just like, or always finding sort of fresh stuff for myself. But I didn't know how this shit worked. And I realized like you can't really keep up the pace if you don't meme.
Yep.
So, I mean, I think it's just the perfect marketing channel, but back to stoner cats, right? Like, at least Vitalik was talking about, at least there's some shit. Now my birds, wasn't there a pig on?
I got a pig over here. You got a bird over there, bro.
Gosh dang it,
bro. First world problems, man.
Are we on the farm?
My fucking monkey is making all this noise. God damn it.
Bro, hold on. Let me go quietly feed it down.
No, that's interesting.
Let me get to another room.
I don't know if you all saw that today. Vitalik tweeted about, stoner cats and how stoner cats, was so much was better. I mean, maybe I'm paraphrasing here, but it was like he's like basically said at least stoner cats had like value.
I have it up if you want me to. To read it.
Go for it.
It's he's saying he's feeling quite unhappy about this cycle of celebrity insofar. Financialization as a means towards an end. I can respect it if the end is worthy, like healthcare, open source software, art. Financialization as the final product, and then he throws up a bunch of money. Ashton and Neela's Stoner Cats was vastly more honorable than anything we've seen in 2024 celebrity meme coin era. At least there was an actual show being funded. How do we push things in a better direction?
Yeah. Did that show ever get made? Did that show get made?
It did.
Oh, it did.
It did.
Okay.
I watched it.
Okay.
And, outside of their sort of like horrible gas war, which by the way, I got refunded like almost a full ETH on that. They did produce a show. And, there is something to say about that. I don't think you have to have utility if you're a meme token. As a matter of fact, it's like community takeover. You launch it on Pump Funder and let's go. Maybe it's $1 billion project. Maybe it's not. But there is something to be said about people focusing and building long-term sustainable value. I also don't think, though, that like what we're doing right now with launching meme coins isn't long-term sustainable value. I think this gets us to where we need to go. I also think this will take shape just like tribal gaming did. I mean, when Native Americans got their licenses, like they started out in tents, and now these tribes are making billions, and they have shows, and they've got entertainment, and they've got valet parking and spas. I mean, I had a bunch of them as clients, and I would just be constantly blown away by like how quickly that industry can move. And so it'll just take shape. Like it takes shape now in golf courses. It takes shape in condos, all that money that came from gambling. So it will take shape. We just got to be patient, and we got to, always step out and look at the macro so that we can figure out, where we're headed and how maybe some of this, like porn or like gambling or like how I found Bitcoin with drugs, could get us to where we need to go.
Yeah, I love that take, man. I love that. And I think that's part of the discussion about like, well, what's next? As the pendulum kind of swings away from meme coins, what's going to be the thing that hits next? And there was a lot of people with different, thoughts on, I don't know, real world assets or social tokens. And And if anybody, you know, I saw, was it Big Chief? If you have a comment there, go ahead, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, on as far as that goes, like I think the progression is Web3, right? Decentralized internet, where everybody's node actually has all of human knowledge on it. It's data storage, decentralized data storage. But I'm really curious on what you guys think about this whole IP thing that I'm going through with the ADDs. I don't know. We don't have to talk about it now, but sometime in the show, if you guys want to give me your opinion or whatever.
Well, this kind of, I mean, I haven't followed it completely, and maybe you want to, in a sec, give a kind of recap of what's happening. But one of the interesting, it was probably the most interesting talk I saw. It was basically a guy pitching this idea, which is a kind of IP layer managed on blockchains, which is like, okay, if I create a video, right, we're creating a video right now, we can basically put this on a kind of IP layer managed up by blockchains. And therefore, if somebody remixes it, uses it again, puts it on their platform, any sort of flow of value comes through a blockchain-based system, which, I mean, you know, we've been talking about this for, you know, multiple years now. But it still feels like that may still be decades away. There's so many, I mean, it gets into this, like the music space, it touches, you know, films and everything like this. It's just very difficult to kind of break up the existing, you know, money structures that exist, you know, and kind of remake the way we, you know, manage IP and stuff like that.
So
yeah, but go ahead. Give us the 30-second overview of what's happening with you guys.
Okay, well, I released this project. Okay, 30 seconds. Wow. Okay. I'll just say my thoughts on what you just said about the IP thing.
Yeah, we could save this conversation tomorrow if we want to.
Oh, actually, yeah, let's just do it tomorrow, man, because I know we'll go in deeper. I know there's a lot to it. There's a lot to it.
Yeah. Okay, I just want to make one comment then.
Yeah.
If it's inscribed on a public blockchain like Bitcoin, Dogecoin, Litecoin, and the data itself is actually inscribed in the public transaction data of a public blockchain, then that data belongs to the public. Now, regardless of who created it, that's my opinion. Anybody can take any code off the blockchain that's been inscribed and use it. There's no way to protect it. It's unless you're relying on the state, which would be dependent on jurisdiction. And blockchain is outside of the state's jurisdiction. So, and it should be, as it should be.
Man, we'll go deep on that tomorrow.
This is a much longer conversation. I've been following it since they've pinged it to me, but let's do it tomorrow where we have 30 minutes to an hour to really dive into it.
All right, just send me a DM or whatever.
Yeah, tomorrow
Adam,
same time.
Was,
PM Eastern time.
Adam, what was some of the vibes and kind of the attendees? Consensus is usually more technical focused, not generally that big, but I think that it was really timely with where the market is right now. What were some of the attendees like? What was the energy like? What was, you know, some of the more kind of common conversations, maybe just runes?
Well, I'm kind of like I'm like Fungibles. Like I was at the actual, like, in the big event space for only a few hours, like one day, like just walking around. But so I'm not like that sort of space and that sort of thing doesn't really vibe with me. I'm not great at like walking through 10,000 people and like walking up to one person being like, "Hey, how you?" Like that's not me, you know. But even with that, it was fun to, like, you know, meet up with you know, just some people who I knew, right? And so you spot them and you kind of just, you know, see them there and stuff. So for me, it was always the kind of side events. You know, honestly, that's
Can I pin something?
Yeah, go ahead.
I took some pictures of banners on the floor.
Yeah.
Because I wanted people to kind of see what like the messaging is like, who's spending the money, what the value props are walking around the floor. So I'm gonna pin 4 banners, 4 banners. So I'm gonna pin 1 tweet with 4 banners.
Sure. Yeah, it's interesting how that does kind of morph. That's one thing. I mean, honestly, I didn't get a specific vibe from this one. Like in certain times, like going to whatever NFT NYC, you know, one year was definitely like the metaverse year, right? Like this is the metaverse year. This is the NFT year or whatever. You know, it's just, you know, I didn't get one thing that stood out. And Fungibles, I don't know if you got one thing that really stood out to you.
Not like what you're saying. I mean, you know, you have some major narratives happening. I mean, you've got sort of decentralized AI, which is huge right now.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited about how AI is going to sort of automate the fair distribution of money back through blockchain. I love, you know, I think a lot we're hearing is DPIN. And, you know, we're hearing restaking with eigenlayer, RWAs, somebody mentioned, real world assets is kind of starting to really boil up. You know, these are buzz terms. I mean, a lot of people don't even know what they mean.
Yeah.
But, you know, I do believe like real world assets is a big deal. And I think this sort of ties back into 721s and, you know, BRC20s, and it ties back into, you know, it could be something like portfolio rebalancing across chain if you're a wealth manager at JP Morgan. And, you know, you need to be able to sort of make sure that these assets are transferred. There's, you know, some settlement finality, you know, sort of where they are, it's balanced properly, and it's on chain, and it's verifiable. And, you know, that's some game-changing stuff. And so, you know, I think there's these big terms that we got to really break them down and then sort of apply them to like what's been built here in the space. And then, of course, as soon as that happens, all of a sudden it's like, now we have ordinals. It's like, oh shit. Now, you know, like you know, but I think it's important to be able to support multiple chains if you're going to do this. And there's just going to be different use cases, different block size times that sort of, you know, give you different types of features.
Yep. Like
security, if it's 10 minutes.
I mean, it certainly feels like real world assets have some traction now, kind of for the first time. The DPIN thing, I mean, that just feels like still way off to me. That just nothing clicked in the same way that when I was just talking about that social layer for IP, or, you know, blockchain layer for IP and copyright and stuff like that, just feels like we just have so much more to be built out and around and mind share to kind of grab before anything like that even, you know, remotely becomes a possibility. And right now we're just playing around with like social tokens and stuff like that. But it just feels miles and miles away to me right now, like decades away.
It's distracting.
Yeah, it is fun though. Cody said your hand
distracting to build.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like I think I'm missing out on generational wealth here because I've not been trading. I've just been focused on building stuff, and that's the sacrifice you make.
Yeah.
The amount of money that you're looking at. I mean, depending on how well you play the game, not making because you're sort of choosing to focus on something that's long term. And that delayed gratification is also, you know, a really important thing to have as an entrepreneur. Sorry, Cody, I saw you had your hand up. I'm not.
No, that's totally fine.
Shut the fuck up.
Hey, it's totally fine. I was commenting on you. So Fungible was talking about things on change, and it's amazing that you guys are the builders. And I get that you're not getting that immediate snap gratification that a lot of the traders are gobbling up with all the memes and everything else right now. But you guys are building something bigger. And I wondered, I've been talking to lots of people that went to Consensus. I didn't go. Next year I'm going to go. And I get where big conferences, you get stuck in your you're still kind of in your own mindset when you're wandering around there. So you don't really see everything. And so listening to different people is fantastic. But some of the big guys there that I was talking with were saying how they noticed an amazing amount of big bank players and fund management guys and like old school stock guys and people in the big wealth markets. And I'm wondering if they're there now, kind of getting more aware that maybe they need to have their things on chain. Like what you're talking about, everything really needs to be on chain. And I said earlier in a comment, like, X needs to be on a blockchain. What the hell is he doing? Why does he not have his own blockchain for X? That would probably fix a lot of things. But anyway, I'm excited to see what you guys think about that, especially about the banks maybe coming there, sniffing around, seeing if going on chain makes sense to them.
Well, I think
Adam.
Yeah, I think to a large degree the banks and that sort of thing groups like that coming in, like I was talking with Amanda earlier, it's they just see the returns and it's like, well, of course they want to play in the space. It's the same thing with the ETFs. I'm sure it'll be the same thing with stable coins, right? This is the general feeling I get on why Washington flip-flopped so quickly. It's the pressure from the banks. Like, we're missing out on ridiculous amounts of money. And so it just feels like they're coming in because they don't want to see it. Why should everybody else be able to get these returns? They want to get the returns, right? And one interesting thing to kind of Fungible's point there about, head down building. I was talking to our friend Patches, who works for Hedera blockchain. And, we're talking about the team at Hedera, and it's, like 150 people, and they're building all this infrastructure, and they have all these partnerships and blah, 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 blah. And, the token for Hedera is worth less than like WIF or something, right? It's like you put in all this work. There's literally hundreds of people. There's, incredible amount of energy and building and all this sort of stuff. And you're valued less than a meme coin that was spun up in 15 minutes, right?
bro, to your point, go look at that pin that I just did, and then look at the next, look at the next tweet from that pin. It's all the images of the Hedera Council. So to your point, it is Rockstar, bro. I mean, look at some of these names up here: Google, Hitachi, Ubisoft, IBM, LG. I mean, to your point, like, the value right now is being sucked away into these memes. But make no mistake, guys, every TradFi person is here. Every TradFi, like, everybody on Wall Street is secretly trading with. I'm not going to say any names, but there was a billionaire that came into this space. This was not long ago, and they were trying to make a name for themselves from Wall Street TradFi person. And they were going to launch a token and a bot, and it was rugged. And this and the part about this is this person was trying to, like, have this token be for the people and not even make any money off of it. And then the developer rugged it and stole, I don't know how many millions. This is the interest in the space. But in talking with these guys, they're all TradFi Wall Street guys. Like, everybody's here, and they're all trying to figure it out.
Hey, so to that point, now once some of these meme coins get so huge, and it's so crazy how they just blow up like that. Like you were saying, ones with real utility, they're actually building real things in the world. They, for some reason, are not near as high as the dog with a hat or whatever. But a lot of these meme coins, when they get that big, you can hear people always talking like, oh, like, what's the utility of this thing? And it ends up being like people thinking like, so what do I really have my money in? Is there ever any a possibility or idea or anything where some of these big meme coins, like, let's just say, I don't pick one, Bonk, Pepe, whatever the heck is huge, could they ever do a partnership? Would something like Hedera ever be like open to saying, oh, you know what? Yeah, we would like some of your liquidity into our coin. Like, would there ever be any joining up of forces at that higher level when they're talking, like Pepe's 6.4 billion or something right now? Just, I wonder if anyone's ever thought of that.
Go ahead, Chris.
I think that, just kind of they're all the same conversation. All of the current kind of key topics throughout the industry: high FDV, low float tokens, launching these, quote unquote builder coins with, multi-billion-dollar valuations without giving a chance for retail to all get in. Paired with the huge rise in interest in kind of just like fair launch meme coins, I think that it actually all turns out to be the exact same conversation. And that, we've been investing in a space for like 8 years, and, we've been supporting builders, quote unquote, for almost a decade. And we say all the time, like, we're not sure what's really been built here. And then now all of a sudden, every single VC, every single capital allocator in the industry is just, going on every single podcast circuit, kind of claiming that nobody wants to support builders anymore. But I think that's like further from the truth. The industry just kind of had a natural progression of not investing in these extremely overvalued kind of tokens and finding more of a fair launch type of token, which just happens to be meme coins now. And then to kind of Cody's point, I think that just kind of changes the whole kind of structure of the current market, where you're going to get some of these builders or some of these meme coins that might pivot now that they have community first, rather than investing in some sort of future long drawn out product. And so I think that it all kind of stems around the fair launch and kind of the tokenomics of it. And I think this is just the natural progression of where the industry is. And I think meme coins and, you know, all the latest tech craze have, you know, one thing in common, and that's their token structures and how they're similar, how they're different.
So fungibles, from a investment standpoint, do you think then, since memes are a crowded trade right now, is now the time to kind of start rolling money back into, you know, utility tokens or foundational tokens like Hedera and stuff like that?
That's a great question. I like to go back in history, and I like to go back to like the 2021 era. We had this period of time where every token launching was a quote unquote like utility token, right? It could just be like Gitcoin from Consensus, I think, was it, you know, a utility token. It was all major projects doing something, and then you had, even though Doge, you know, was already around and Shiba was already around as well, they really didn't take off till like May 21, and you got all these dog tokens that just started, you know, Floki and everything started going crazy. Yep. And then, you know, the NFT rush came in, and I saw NFTs and tokens sort of coming back together. But it never really fully formed, because then what happened was just memes sort of stayed here and then got bigger. So I keep wondering when we're going to kind of go back to the sense of normalcy, sense of, I don't know.
Maybe memes are the normal, man.
Yeah, that's it, right? Like this is the this is the floor.
This
right?
is the new normal, bro. Memes are
This is
money.
the new normal.
That's it, bro.
Well, let's like with casinos. Let's say all this money gets spent, you know, to gamble, and then people start building casinos, and you have these ecosystems that start popping up. It's like there's going to be a lot of money that flows into all these tools, right? Maybe it's a bot that people start making a bunch of money on, but then that creates jobs, which then flows into, you know, some other sort of mechanism that is needed to do RWAs, and then before you know it, it's like banking now starts to get tied more in, because we now have a little bit more of like a nice regulatory environment here. So I think, I mean, my prediction would be, and again, this is for what it's worth here, shit changes quick, but I would say I'm hoping in the next, we'll call it a year and a half to 2 years, we should have enough time between kind of this cycle and the money flowing, as well as sort of the new crypto entrants, you know, to really bring things back to where it really might take another bear, to be honest. Yeah. So that's why you know, we'll see what that looks like. But maybe Bitcoin stays at 50, 60, and that's our bear.
Awesome, man. Appreciate you coming up and giving your takes. Always enjoy what you have to say. Luke, let's move on to Bell's Coin. Let's go, baby. How's it going, man?
It's going good, man. Recovering, but we're doing good.
So you probably missed the start of the show. We had you know, Tom on, who I think you probably talked to at the Bitmain event, and he was just saying how, you know, he got invited to the Bitmain event, but then didn't even get to talk to anybody from Bitmain while he was there. And I was just kind of joking with him about how, you know, these big corporations, it's sometimes hard to figure out, you know, to connect with like the decision maker or actually know who you're talking to, because it's such a big company that, you know, one hand doesn't know what it's doing, you know, with the other. And it's just kind of this, it's a funny thing. But if you want to give a little bit of, you know, your view on meeting with Bitcoin, we did meet with, you know, Bitcoin representatives a couple times. So I think that went pretty well, but I'd love to hear your thoughts, and then I'll kind of jump to Randy and then maybe give my thoughts.
Yeah, sure. I think it was good, obviously, that they reached out, and they're all supportive of obviously the ecosystem in general, because obviously there's direct interest. I do agree with you on the point where that whole company, business, organization is so spread out from one end to the other. So for things to get done, it's either that day of, for example, some of the Bitmain representatives we met with were unaware that they were going to be speaking at that Bitmain event. So they had to make presentations like a couple hours before. So that's kind of how tight that operation goes in terms of, you need to get this done, you need to get this done. Regardless, I mean, they're awesome people. They're awesome to work with. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to be one of those things for Bell's Coin where I believe Bitmain is going to help in the long term. because it's all volunteer right now. So there needs to be some structure, and Bitmain is helping with that structure a little more. So there's my take on that all.
Yep. Yeah. So just to give a little context, and I know we've talked about it in kind of the Discord and that sort of thing, but basically we're trying to coordinate with Bitmain for them to fund some development for Bell's Coin, right? The grander vision would be to create a foundation that they could then donate into, and this foundation would then be able to pay for either infrastructure development, devs, whatever Bell's Coin needs to continue operating, right? They get the benefit of, they get a community that's going to support them, broadcast, market out what products they have because they've supported us. So kind of create that symbiotic relationship with Bitmain, who, they sell the boxes, they sell the miners, and with Bell's Coin going to be completely merge mined with Doge and Litecoin, they want to sell as many boxes as possible. And so people are only going to buy boxes if they can make money, and they make more money by mining Bell's Coin along with Doge and Litecoin. So it's a pretty simple thing, but just to be completely transparent about, what happened there, they did pay for Luke and I, to go up, and paid for the hotel rooms and stuff. And so, just to be fully transparent on what's happening there. But what we're trying to do is create this, create a relationship, symbiotic relationship, really, where, they help support the chain. And obviously we're all bag holders of Bells and, want it to succeed. It's this kind of creating this relationship, which is difficult when you're dealing with literally like $1 billion corporation, which I'm sure if any of you have tried to do business with $1 billion corporation, it's really hard to find, like, as I would call it, the decision maker, like who can actually do this, right? You're dealing with levels of other people. And so it can get a little funny. But they were really nice, really awesome. We had a good time chatting on stage and stuff, and talking about not only Bell's Coin, but Dogecoin as well, and kind of that history. But luckily enough, we have Randy up on stage, man. What's up, dude? It was good meeting with you and talking all things crypto. What's up, dude?
What's up, Adam? Thanks for having me on. Just working on some cool new stuff, and listening in.
So what'd you take away from Consensus? Was there anything interesting to you beyond just Bells, or was it just Bells that was amazing?
Well, I kind of showed up late, as you know, and I was just there for the Bitmain event, so I wasn't really aware of what was going on. But I was at Consensus last year, and it seemed like there was a lot of ordinals people there, but there weren't a lot of people talking about ordinals, like on the stages and at the main event and all that stuff. So I don't know if that changed this year.
Yep.
But in general, I was actually surprised at how many people were still going to these kind of more investor focused, or like, suit and tie type events this year. I was surprised that there was that much interest in Consensus, how many people came into town and everything.
Yeah, man. We just got up the meme farm on stage. What's up?
What's good, Bells fam? I'm just enjoying my lunch break, and I thought you are live. I just joined real quick and say Bells coin, the best coin, my guys. Yeah, man.
Obviously the best coin. It was actually one of the things that was really fun, was meeting with a couple of the core Dogecoin guys who really didn't know much about Bells. But it was actually really interesting to hear their take. And we've talked about it a million times on the show, but this like almost direct quote, he's like, one of the kind of developers of one of the wallets was like, Dogecoin has been the best thing to happen to Dogecoin in 5 years. And he was super thankful for ordinals and the whole kind of Dogecoin movement for just creating interest. Like, he's like, you can't imagine how dead it was from a development standpoint, just nothing happening. And he was just really, really pumped about, even though it's kind of flatlined now, but just that it had brought this interest back onto Dogecoin, and that there was like building on Dogecoin again. And to a large extent, like that debate that was happening maybe 5-6 months ago about, are we going to allow ordinals to happen? And pretty much I can say conclusive, that's been put to bed. Like, the Dogecoin community is definitely moving forward with, build on Doge. This is going to be awesome. And so that was great to hear from that perspective, Jake. I know that's good for your Doge bags.
Helps the Doge bags.
What is super crazy, I didn't know, I don't know if you already said this, but we now have more inscriptions than Bitcoin, which is like very awesome. It just goes to show that there's some amount of interest at least in our ecosystem. And yeah, man, that's one milestone already surpassed.
When are my Doge map bags coming back? Yeah, I think Dogecoin just needs some key infrastructure improvements, or just some big key players to finally move over, right? Whether it's Track or whether it's Elon tweeting about Dogecoin specifically or whatever the hell it is, but it can turn around on a dime. One question I was to ask Adam this is like, how was the side events comparative to the conference? Did you see more attendees going to side events, more people at the conference? What was the general sentiment around it? Because generally, most of these crypto conferences, nobody even goes to the conference. Everyone just goes to the side events.
I mean, literally, I wasn't even going to go. I think I told you this maybe offline, but it was leading up to it. The one thing, Bitmain didn't buy our tickets, right? So Luke and I are debating, okay, well, the tickets, to get in the conference, it was $1,500 ticket, right? And maybe 4 or 5 days in advance, I was on the phone talking to somebody, and it was like, oh, let's go look at the tickets, and go to look at the tickets, and all of the regular event tickets, it was like they put up a sold out button, right? So the only tickets available were the $2,000 tickets. I was like, dude, I am not spending $2,000 on a ticket. Like, I am not. So I wasn't even going to go into the actual conference itself. But I applied for, this is a super secret. I'm giving out like insider info now.
Alpha.
I applied for a press pass, and
Nice.
and they gave me a press pass. And I think, Luke, did you apply for a press pass too? You got a press pass as well?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is the alpha guys. Apply for press passes and you get in for free. So that was pretty awesome. I had no idea, I felt fortunate to get it. But I mean, I was only in the main event for a couple hours. Like, I just again, those don't really vibe for me. So it's all about the side events, meeting up with people, individuals, just sending DMs and meeting with people.
Yeah, we've had this conversation a handful of times after conferences, how I've been talking about this for a few years. Crypto conferences are so ass backwards, and they just need to be completely gutted, and it needs to evolve some way.
Just make it all side events, right? I mean, this is what
we were talking about in New York, right? It was what these crypto conferences should do. And I was considering doing this in Las Vegas. Maybe we'll do this as an Emblem thing in the future, although they're pretty expensive. You basically make the conference free, right? And if you make the conference free, then this means that anybody could walk into the boothing area, which is who's paying for the conference. When you talk to the people who throw in the conferences, they're all completely sponsored. Sponsors are paying. What's better for a sponsor than having a conference that's free for people to literally walk up to, right? And then the question is, how do the conferences make money? Well, if everyone's going to the side events, then you need to be the headquarter, or you need to be the main center for these side events, where you have these crypto companies coming in and just going directly to Consensus, going directly to NFT NYC and saying, hey, I want to do a side event. And these companies, if you're NFT NYC or whoever it is, you basically go out and you help them. You're the one that works with these banquet groups, or you go and book with these venues, and you just take a rake of whatever the side event is, right? If the side event is $20K for 1,000 people and unlimited drinking, you take 5% of the stake, and you just kind of call it like that, and everyone really wins. And you could do a lot of cool kind of activations here, but I've been in the space for 8 years, and it's been this way the entire time. Is that no one goes to the conference, everyone just goes to side events. And it's because nobody wants to pay $2,000 or $700 or whatever. The only reason I go to NFT NYC is because I get a free ticket
speaker or whatever, right? Yeah,
you get a free ticket to speak.
I have an idea maybe for one that could pop up. Do you guys? Because I heard the word Las Vegas. Wait, sorry. Can you guys hear me? By the way,
Yeah, we got you.
I can hear you. Yeah, I live in Las Vegas.
Yo, Snapchat. Hey guys, no, who you live in Las Vegas, bro? The Fish band, the band of Fish, the Fish food, Ben and Jerry's ice cream, like Fish the band, you know, the jam band.
Yeah.
Bro, they were like in Las Vegas, and apparently they did a big Las Vegas thing, and every Fish fan was just walking up and being like, "Bro, you're going to Fish?" Like Fish fans, just flowing to the fish. So I'm saying, why not just have a fish flow and just I've been simulcasting. I've been experimenting. I am a Twitch streamer. Hello, I'm not live or anything. The OBS is down. Just don't worry, guys. We're down.
Wait, you haven't moved on from OBS? OBS is a piece of garbage, man. Come on.
You're kidding me. No, OBS is extremely lightweight. So I can open a Zoom room and sit in there myself and just sit in my own room and have my camera. And OBS is more lightweight. I'm a game developer. So I was a Blizzard intern last year on the game Diablo IV, Diablo 4. My name is EMMALLOYD. My name is Emma Lloyd. If you Google it, you can see I'm a Diablo Blizzard intern. Anyways, my idea though, for like, wouldn't that be funny as fuck? Like in the Las Vegas area where everyone just came from the Fish Jam Band area, and then be like, guys, we should fish flow, get some Ben and Jerry's, get Ben and Jerry's to sponsor with the fish food ice cream, right? They have an ice cream named Fish Food for Fish the band. I love the Grateful Dead, and maybe the Grateful Dead Deadheads could come jam along at the jam band. I'm thinking that I have a mandolin and a banjo, perhaps. I could because I'm a DJ. I think it'll be funny as fuck, guys. Like, how
you're
like,
a DJ with a
mean,
banjo? What the hell?
No, yeah, I could DJ with a banjo. I have a deck. Like, I have a Saratoga DJ Roland 202 DJ Pro deck. I like Skrillex. I like the Wub Wub. I'm a bass head. You guys know Dion Timmer and Excursions? What the fuck?
What are these words that are coming out of your mouth? I don't understand these words.
I'm sorry, sir. It is the meme-ology. I'm a Zoomer. I apologize. I was born in 1998, so I'm
no cap on God.
On God, for real, deadass little bro. Ain't no way she was deadass born in 1998. It's okay though, because I am technically still a 90s baby, but I was born in 98, so that makes me cuss of I'm trying to stage my hashtag right now is NFTFi, like Azula.
Girl, hashtags are dead, man. You don't know that?
I don't care. I'm bringing them back. It's a coup.
Never gonna happen. Hashtags are
I'm
dead.
cooing it. Well, I'm hashtagging crypto coup.
Hashtag never gonna happen.
Hashtag
I'm
not on my watch.
Hashtag. I'm okay, not on my watch, bro. My watch right now is an emergency room ER band from the emergency room. That's my watch. On God, my time is. I'm schizo. I'm schizo affected.
Wait, you don't say.
I don't think you've taken one breath this whole.
Bro, you need to hook up with Jake when you're back in Vegas.
Yeah, so Fish was performing at the Sphere. They have a residency.
Yes, that thing. Yes, tell me about the Fish, please. I'm gonna be quiet now.
It's just a bunch of people doing acid and going to the Sphere. I mean, it looks kind of fun, honestly.
Yeah, that's amazing. My friend is in the Harvey Krishna cult, I believe.
Oh, amazing. Hard to believe.
He works for Raytheon. He builds government war robots. His name is Omi. He works for Raytheon, but his name is Omar.
What kind? Bro, all right.
Leave
your stream up top so we can watch your stream. We'll watch your stream next time.
Am I talking to an AI? What is going on?
Obviously, this is very interesting. Go ahead, pin your stuff up top. We can follow you, but let's go to Beltoshi right now.
I apologize. I am a bit extra about that, guys. It's nice to meet everybody, though. Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I just didn't have. I wanted to yap in another crypto call, but they wouldn't unmute me. I think it's because I don't have Twitter Blue.
You gotta send Jake a DM. You definitely gotta hook up.
Just hit me up. Yeah.
I don't. Who is Jake?
Jake's up top. He's
the one on stage that says Jake.
So this is Adam. This is Adam, and we're speaking. We're speaking through
Adam from the rap interviewer. Adam TV.
Yeah, that's me.
The rap interviewer.
Yeah,
hey, dude.
I'm the big rapper, of course.
Adam, hey, I'm on the rap. Yeah, those sneakers.
I'm LSD.
Sneakers on with Adam from Adam the rapper video. Hey guys.
All right, Beltoshi, bring us back to reality, brother.
Yo. Oh, hello everybody.
Yo.
It's the first time in here. I am Beltoshi Nakamoto. I run the Bestcoin X account and passionately support Bestcoin. Just a simple question to everyone here. I think Bestcoin still has a long way to go. What do you think is most important for Bestcoin to go mainstream?
It's a great question.
Yes.
For me, the number one thing and the hardest thing is awareness. That's always the challenge. That's the thing that's the hardest. I think from a technical standpoint, like we're going to get through the technicals. I'm pretty confident. I wasn't confident, a few months ago because it was kind of like not unsure, but I feel like the technical hurdles are going to be taken care of, are going to actually be worked out. That includes, merge mining and kind of moving forward and making a really robust blockchain. I think that's going to happen. But then after that, the hardest thing is the awareness. Like, how do we create something or create a narrative that's compelling enough to get people to not only want to own bells, but to use the blockchain? And so, that's really hard. And for me, it's not only telling kind of an interesting story around Billy Marcus and, the birth of bells and the birth of Dogecoin, but it's also doing something new and interesting. I really think we have to do something interesting that moves the needle. And I don't know what that is yet. We had a lot of discussions in Austin about like what that could be. And we have some good ideas out there. If any of those hit, awesome. The likelihood of them hitting, it's really hard. You guys are on X all day long. To get anything to move the needle is really, really hard. We're going to take some shots at stuff and probably it's going to fail, but hopefully, we catch something that kind of just moves Bell's coin in a way that's different than other blockchains. Like if we can make that happen, that gives us the best chance of really becoming something special. But that's hard to do. Like, full transparency, the odds of that happening are low. Just look in the crypto space. What's happening on Litecoin? Why is nobody excited about Litecoin? Because they can't get shit going, right? Dogecoin's trying to get shit going, and Bell's coin will try to get some shit going too, but there's certainly no guarantee. It's hard to do, but we're going to try.
Pump Nook into oblivion. That's all you got to do. Pump it into oblivion and people will come to it.
We got some cool ideas. I mean, and that was one of the exciting things of, just being in a physical space with people where you can just bounce ideas off of each other is, I don't think that ever goes away because you get so much more than speaking over Zoom or, DMing. Right. And I think that was pretty cool. Just being able to bounce ideas off of, Luke, Randy, the Ordinal Wallet guys, and just being able to hear different ideas about stuff we can do, like what's technically possible, and then what might move the needle from a social perspective and, social tokens and stuff like that, which we had a bunch of different ideas around. It was awesome to kind of lean into that. So to your question, Beltoshi, that's what I think is going to really take Bells to the next level, if possible.
Okay. Thank you for caring so much. And then
didn't you read in the Discord? Adam doesn't care. Adam doesn't give a shit about Bells.
Okay. And then last thing, if you are interested in Belcoin, please follow Belcoin X account. Thanks.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. If you guys are interested in Bell's coin at all, definitely follow Beltoshi. Absolutely. 100%, man.
Yes. Thank you.
Appreciate you, man. Always good content. This is one of the reasons I am so bullish on Bell's coin because, after the initial launch and, the token dump in price, it's amazing. We have just this handful of community members who actually put out content all the time. And I think that's a really, really bullish signal for us. And so I appreciate you guys for doing that.
Pump Nook. I think like a thriving Bellinals community will probably drive a lot of attention. Is Bells 3.0? Are they getting Taproot or Segwit? Do you know? Was there any mention of that?
Luke, you want to jump in?
Yeah, it should be Segwit for sure, and Taproot will probably come eventually enabled at a certain block height as well. But Segwit should be there. It should be caught up to basically everything Dogecoin has 2024. So
I would say if that's the case, then I think Bells actually has a pretty clear advantage on Dogenals and Dogecoin. I mean, Dogecoin obviously has, Memetic, the value, but its infrastructure is severely lacking, and also has like an infinite supply, which is negative. So I think if Bells kind of leans into maybe some cross-chain things or some type of something new, as you said, right? This is something we talk about a lot. What is going to be a native product that will onboard new users? You know, things like, I know Luke was the one who introduced me to this idea of like cross-chain recursion, right? If you could do that between like Bells and Litecoin and start getting some ideas and some new kind of interest that way, I think you'll attract some builders, which is generally, I think, what you need to do first is attract some builders and then attract the degens, or at least you attract builders and then degens who just want to ape meme coins until something is built.
Well, I mean, Luke has some really cool ideas about like, mining a native token on stuff like that, which are really cool ideas. So yeah, there's lots out there. Obviously, we got to get through this like upgrade to Bells 3. And I think once we do that, get the miners all on board and stuff. I mean, the price itself, just with the speculative nature of X, we all know that once these kind of halvings take place, it wouldn't take much to really move the Bells price. But that's actually now my main concern, because I realize it could pump in a week and then be gone, right? It's like, how do we build something that makes it more interesting for this kind of long-term staying power of a blockchain? That's what's more interesting to me. And if anybody has any ideas about something, they want to build or
I got an idea.
Go for it. Let's hear it, bro.
Bells L2.
Powered by Nook.
Bells L2 and then Boons. Bells runs. Let's do it.
Bro.
Run it back.
Bro, run it back, man.
Bells L2. I mean,
so crazy, man. It's so crazy. Maybe Bells is, the best L2 for Bitcoin. Maybe we can just integrate that and Bells becomes the number one L2 for Bitcoin.
Yo,
so we have to launch Pausley as a token on top of that.
Launch what?
What was that?
Bell's palsy.
Bell's palsy.
We're in the meme. I've seen a lot of crazy.
Bro, that's awesome, bro. Holy cow. Has somebody already done that? Oh my God, that is awesome, bro.
Honestly, if you think about
and have it be worth $1 billion the next day. That's all.
That's a great meme. If you think about it, right? If you think of Bell's coin as like a UTXO based L2 for Bitcoin, I don't think anyone's really attempted that. I mean, Litecoin's kind of had that narrative for a while, right? The gold to silver, but the interoperability is not there. Doge is just lacking the infrastructure to do it. So if you catch up and maybe that's an interesting narrative of Bells is the UTXO L2 to Bitcoin.
Very interesting. I mean, one of the things we talked about too, just to kind of lean into this, like, well, what from an interest standpoint would be interesting to users and stuff. Like if we, put in OpCat and stuff like that, first and let people kind of play around and experiment, would that be interesting? I don't think it would be. My personal gut is like, people don't give a crap. They just want to go places that they think might have some edge for them to make some money, degen, do something, make money basically. And I think that's the thing that really moves the needle is, opportunities for people to make money. So speculation. So anyway, yes, DM me if anybody has ideas about interesting speculative plays on Bells coin. I'm open to hearing them, and we got developers waiting to build stuff. So yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I got some MBells that I need to put to use somehow, somewhere in some way. Dude, UTXO based L2. I keep thinking about that now. I'm gonna keep thinking through it. It's a really, really kind of interesting idea. Cross-chain recursion, OPCat. What if it was like, what if it was, this is just thinking out loud of jokes, right? Bitcoin maxis and Bitcoin kind of community wants something that's UTXO based and decentralized. I mean, I would say Bells is pretty close to that. It was a free and fair launch. And I think the largest wallet owns what, like you own like a quarter of the supply or something.
I mean, the largest, I haven't checked in a while, but there's got to be some miner out there with like a huge bag, I'm sure. I mean, look, it's basically a miner owned chain right now, right? So, I mean, it's touched down to, I don't know, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but like 20 cents. So you were picking up Bells for 20 cents. So, I mean, there's been a long time frame here where people have been able to get in on the cheap. So, but it's like, we realize that if once that hits that kind of 60 million mark, the miners are basically taken out. It's $1 million more per year to infinity. So, the miners become pretty much inconsequential at that point. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how the distribution goes. I think over the next year, we'll see how the distribution goes from a holder perspective. And hopefully it'll get into a lot more hands and not be kind of controlled by the miners.
One final thing I'll say on this is Nook has probably the worst distribution I've ever seen in my entire life of any token ever.
5 people own the entire gazillion.
It's a 100 million mints with 1,800 owners. It's like
is it 1,800 or 8,000? 1,800, Jesus, man.
That's what I saw someone post. I don't know if I tried to look. Ordinal's wallet didn't have an update, but from what I saw somebody post, it said 1,800. I was like, that is horrendous distribution.
Crazy, man. It's crazy, dude.
I mean, it was probably like one person just minting the entire time. I mean, it was a penny or whatever it was.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about it with, the Ordinal wallet guys. I was like, was it you? They were like, no. I think they said they got, I don't even know. Luke, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe it was like less than 1% of the supply. So they got some, but not like huge bags. Of course, they could have been lying to me too. I don't know. It could be, Graham Bell could have huge bags of it. That's possible too. Yeah, who knows? But there's definitely some massive whales out there for sure.
It was really hard to justify minting Nook because
the
price Bell and just spending the bells on fees if you actually wanted things to go through on the broken chain at the time. You really had to figure out, are you going to hold bells long term, or are you going to take a really big gamble on spending your bells for Nook? So I was really curious to see people's thoughts, and now we have 1,800 holders on Nook. So it's curious to see how that plays out, like you guys are talking.
Yeah, I mean, I started doing that calculation. Like, I just felt, it wasn't worth it at some point, and I stopped. I mean, I don't know how much I have. Honestly, no idea.
Yeah, I spent like 5,000 bells, and I was like, oh gosh, it just didn't sit right with me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, bells do $100, so I can't be messing around with that 5K bells anymore. So
Nook saying he owns 2% in the chat. It's like, it was doing that math, and it was just like, I just didn't feel like giving up the bells for it at some point. I mean, still have decent bags, but not crazy. That's for sure.
Well, you see, it's every time Doge pumps, Bells usually pumps pretty harder. So and then Nook, in theory, right, is the beta on Bell's coin. So you're going, extreme degen.
I mean, we've seen it though, like and we're thinking it might come back, right, with Doggy, and but we're not sure. I mean, it is uncertain times right now as to whether or not the BRC20 meta is going to have long-term legs. I mean, we've talked about it endlessly about it, but I'm not convinced. I don't know. It may work. It may not. I don't know. Maybe runes, pop up on bells and we get into the runes meta. It's hard to say, man. Hard to say.
Yeah. Who knows? Some new technology. Should we wrap it up here?
Yeah, man.
Let's do it.
Does anybody has other questions? I don't think so, though. Everybody's good.
Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's our inscription show. We do it every Thursday. We cover everything from Bitcoin ordinals, Litecoin ordinals, stamps, counterparty, atomicals, hashinals, XYZ inals, right? Inscriptions, bellinals, etc. So we'll be covering that tomorrow. Yesterday, we had an awesome conversation with the co-founder of Counterparty and Joe Looney with some updates over there. I do think Counterparty is going to compete with ordinals when they finally figure that shit out. I do really think that. I've been saying it for a long time. They're probably still about a year away, honestly. They make it sound like it's right around the corner. I do not think it's right around the corner, but we'll talk. We'll talk.
It's like the hardest thing, though. The tech may be better. It may be better, but if they can't get a narrative that catches fire, it's the same thing as what I just described for Bell's Coin. It's their narrative is old, which is Pepe's and Spells of Genesis and kind of historical NFTs. they have to catch a new narrative, which is really fun. It's really hard.
The one thing though, the one reason why I make it bullish is the community. I mean, all of the Sol meme coins, or at least a lot of the popular ones, are the counterparty guys. It's literally counterparty guys creating all these memes.
Totally.
So they're really good at creating narratives.
Yep.
They're very strong at doing it, right? You got all the Pepe guys. They know what they're doing. And I know when it's time, when counterparty has PSBTs and XYZ features that Adam was talking about yesterday, I'm pretty sure they'll be able to figure out how to spin a narrative up through memes. But when it comes, right, it's the tech is the hard part. As Adam said, they still have a lot to comb through before they get to PSBTs, right? Everyone wants PSBTs so that Magic Eden can list for a Pepe and so that you could trade for a Pepe. We're also going to list it on Emblem markets as well. We're not just going to go away, but that's what everybody wants, right? Because that's what brings attention. But the devs are like, that's not our focus right now. We need to make sure that counterparty is healthy. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. That was fun. And yeah, appreciate for coming to the space. We're going to wrap it up here. We host the show Tuesday through Thursday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. Myself, Adam, and Chris, who is on stage. We work at Emblem, the leading cross-chain NFT protocol. Coming this month, we're going to be dropping our new front end, Emblem.finance. You'll be able to finally vault on a mobile phone, and I have a full experience. Woo! The fact that Emblem's
years in the making.
The fact that Emblem's done 200 million in volume and created over 100,000 vaults without a mobile experience is just absolutely blasphemy. I have no idea how it's made it this far. Emblem markets hopefully dropping at the end of the month here. This is the first entrance, which I think a lot of tech and developer friendly people will like this, right? This is our venture into what is called a chain agnostic marketplace, right? So you get one collection that represents all different chains that the asset exists on. This is opposite that you see of native experiences, right? We're going to try to blend it all together. Not going to be an easy endeavor, but this is what Emblem Vault does. We create one of one unique products, and we'll be doing that moving forward. So maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow. But until then, guys, be safe out there. Happy Wednesday, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Cheers.